So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? So we are talking about grapes here at the Grape Explorer, and one of my favorite grapes, and I have to really say this, is Zinfandel. I know a lot of people are going to say, Grape Explorer, David, Zinfandel. Yes, well, I'm going to bring up the past, the present, and the future of not only myself, but of the grape that I think that I adore the most in California. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, what about Cabernet? What about Pinot Noir? What about Merlot? What about those grapes? Well, when I was first out in Napa Valley back in the 80s, we're talking about 84, 85, I ventured out into Napa Valley, met a lot of very interesting people, went to different areas, and what I came back with was, yeah, they make really good Cabernet Sauvignon. But one of my favorite grapes is Zinfandel. I know a lot of people don't really know that, but I want to bring up one of my favorite producers is Seghesio. And I can remember even 25, 30 years ago talking to Peter Seghesio, whose family owned this vineyard since the late 1800s. And they survived Prohibition by, just selling winemaking equipment. Because back in those days, during Prohibition, you were allowed to make a certain amount of wine, in your own, but not sell it, no commercial. So Seghesio, the Seghesio family, the owner of Seghesio, came up with this great idea and said, I'm going to sell winemaking equipment. Why not? Because we can't make wine and sell it. We might as well just tell people how they can do it so they can press their own grapes and make their own wine. That was brilliant because guess what? It kept the winery alive. So, but the Seghesio family, like a lot of Italian wine families, came here to America to search fortune and fame, try to make their way in California. And I'm going to point it right on the map because these people came right in to Sonoma Valley. We're talking Healdsburg, which is one of the hotbeds of Sonoma Valley, right here. So we're just taking this shot right here, and we're going to show you Healdsburg. Right here, you got Alexander Valley, but if you look at all of the vineyards that exist here, and actually, we got another map here. This is Hugh Johnson's book, so we can actually show you Healdsburg, and we can show you exactly where Seghesio Winery is. There's a lot of Italian families. They came here. They were bringing grapes from Italy. A lot of people really didn't know the origins, and we're talking about the 49ers now. We're talking about the gold rush days when, Sacramento and, the foothills, Amador foothills, where they started planting grapes because the Italian people came there trying to search for gold, but guess what? They like to drink wine, so they brought their grapes and they wanted to plant grapes. And so they planted Zinfandel. It was actually a grape that adapted to the climate in California and then flourished long before Cabernet Sauvignon came along, or Pinot Noir, which we keep talking about needs a special place. Zinfandel can actually take the heat. Now think about this heat that exists here today. It is actually a grape that can survive. I love Zinfandel. I adore it. This is the kind of wine that this is everyday drinking wine. If you don't want to spend $100 on a Cabernet Sauvignon, you buy a nice glass Zinfandel, and you can have barbecue in the backyard. And these are the kind of wines that I call Americana wines because we have a sense of history here. We're going to get into where Zinfandel actually came from. Nobody really knows. We think it came from Croatia, and then it ended up in Apulia in Italy, and then it ended up here in America. It was not called Zinfandel. That was kind of a name that kind of was created here by the Italian families that came here. And we're talking about the Gallos, and we're talking about the Mondavis, the Seghesio family as well. A shout out to Seghesio family. They actually sold this vineyard. This is what's going on in California today. A lot of the families have been selling out their vineyards. Just basically, it's an economic situation where today, I've been told you need to be a billionaire today to own wineries in California. Ouch, that's a lot of cash to come up with. To every year you got to finance, the vineyards and everything. So, I feel bad for a lot of the families because eventually, the children just felt like we can't keep up with it. And I know this, Seghesio family and Peter couldn't keep up with this, but a shout out to them, the legacy that still exists. I'm drinking this. This is a great Zinfandel that, to me, this is what it's all about. Sonoma, you can go to Napa Valley and spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a bottle. You go to Sonoma on the other side of the mountain, you're buying wine like this, which is called Zinfandel. And you don't have to spend a lot of money as a consumer. You can still, to this day, find a nice bottle of Zinfandel like this for $15.99. And why would you want to spend any more money? Because it's just going to give you that same pleasure that you're going to get out of spending, wine, oodles of money of wine. You don't have to do that. So we wanted to break out this because I want to give a shout out to California, because I think that Zinfandel needs to be paid attention to. This is a great wine, and we taste the wine. This is delicious as ever. I still think that Zinfandel is probably the greatest grape that California has going for them. You have no competition in the world, California. You have no competition, because nobody can make a wine this juicy, this good for that kind of money. Again, this is a Grape Explorer. You need to pay attention, America. These are great wines, and you can actually afford these wines today. Don't have to spend a lot of money. This is the wine that you need to be drinking. Cheers.